always up, always up. Body move, no stopping, no stopping. Higher, we move, always up, always up. We did rise together, we did rise together, we did rise together, we did rise together. Touch the sun, touch the sun, touch the sun, touch the sun. One sound, one people, lifting, yeah. Always up, no stopping, no stopping. Higher, we did rise together, we did rise together.
So let's continue.
We did rise together, we did rise together.
So I'm making a few refinements in our platform. It is the website of the mobile app that we're working on, and we're trying to refine a little bit of it here to view that the UI that has been set up is much more better than what we had earlier, which is I believe one of the best practices that you can have when you're setting up a website. But again, I want to welcome you once again to this stream, and I believe you get insights on each and every day on how to be able to vibe code your products. If you really enjoy the content that we put out, I'm going to call upon you to subscribe to our channel. We are anticipating to vibe code apps until when I will make $500,000. And the way we are going to make this is by creating several mobile apps and also being able to launch them on app stores and get users for them, paid users for them. So we believe anyone can be able to go through this process, but I decided to go through this process because anyway I was going to go through it, but I wanted to go through it in a way that is visible to other people, and with this process they can be able to learn more about how the process is done, or maybe be able to also embark on their separate journeys. So with this kind of journey, the process is mostly using these vibe coding tools to create mobile apps that are impactful to people, that are solving problems, and that is what we are going to be doing. If you love the content, or if you want to follow up on this journey, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe to the channel, like this video, share our videos to other people who may be interested in this journey, and I believe it's going to be a very good journey that you're going to enjoy. So let's continue with looking at what we have in terms of the work. Basically, what I believe we can do. So this is our initial UI. What we wanted to change was actually the layout, the UI layout of our app. This is what we have that we are using as a reference, and I believe it's well set out. But when you look at what we have here, I still kind of missing. There are certain elements that we can add. So I'm going to go here and get our I think we have a PDF file, but I want to get it from PDF to an image, which would be very good. So let's try to convert it.
We only look at the sky, burn like a flame, stay bright.
Because we already have it, so let's try to convert this to an image.
Touch the top, feel the heat, never stop. Chop life, we don't arrive. Log drum, make we come alive.
So let's try this and see. But meanwhile, we can also make some refinements here and
Money talk, we know they speak. We find a fire, we seek. Magnet pull, we move fast. Make this feeling always last.
So what I'm trying to do is, now this is what we are going to do. I've given you this reference PDF file, which entails the layout of our UI elements. I love the refinements that you've already made to our website. I believe we can be able to do more in terms of trying to capture the exact layout of the hero section and the section that is below it, and also try to look at other sections and how they are laid out and integrate them effectively into our app. So the request that you're going to that you have or the task that you have currently, it is to look at that PDF file which entails the UI elements or layout that we would love to have, study it and study how you can be able to emulate that into our app. Currently you made some changes that are really good, like the navigation tab has been set out very well, but other elements like the hero section, you can further make refinements in how the elements look. Also, you can try to look at its fade out element and also incorporate it, but also even in the other sections, like the section that is just below the hero section in the UI reference image, look at it, and also other sections on how you can incorporate them effectively, so that we have a candid website that has a very good UI that looks good. So please, if you really love the content that we put, I'm going to call upon you to subscribe to the channel, join this journey, because I believe it's going to be one of the most beautiful journeys that we are going to have. Our quest is to really push the products that we are making to go to a tune of earnings of up to $5,000, and I believe that is good. It's good because now when we set out for a journey like this, I know sometimes it looks like it's really tedious, but I believe it's something doable, and we are going to do it with all the products that we produce. But for you to join in on the journey, it would be very good for you to subscribe, so that you can be able to get notifications of upcoming streams that you're going to make. But also, as we are making these streams, I always want to make them and explain the things that I'm doing. Currently, what we are working on, let's go here. We are trying to make changes to the UI of this website. This website is a website that we are going to launch for our app. Currently, we are been working on an app and we are about to launch it, but the way it looks, it's not set out very well. So I'm trying to make refinements to it in terms of how the elements are laid out. So it is important to try and emulate all that we have in our app that is already set out. And to me, that is important. What we are trying to emulate is this is the layout that we have that is well set out. So we've taken screenshots of this full website and we are trying to emulate this so that we can try to at least clone the look of what we have here and incorporate it into our website, which is quite fantastic. So let's go back to Google Anti-Gravity. We already have the implementation plan of the refinements that we are going to make. Let's proceed. So we are not able to make this with this. Let's go back.
Waiting this up, energy high. All the levels don't change. No be beans, we dey fly. We only look at the sky. Burn like fire, no be beans.
So what I'm trying to do,
Sets, we dey win. Lift your hands, touch the top.
I'm trying to convert
Never stop.
the PDF that we have into an image, because the image might be much more readable by the LLM that you are working with. So I want it to really give me a converted file that is merged, so that if we don't really get the refinements that we want, it's easier for us to use the reference image, which is not a PDF file. Let's click it and
everything sets, we dey win. Lift your hands, touch the top. Feel the heat, never stop. Chop life, giant, we done alright. Love drum, make we come alive. Love drum, drum, make we come alive.
let me try to extract it as Google Anti-Gravity is working on our solution, and I see if well, it separated the images. It's not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted. But anyway, let's wait for the refinement that we are making here, and we get to see how it turns out. If it doesn't really turn out, then we shall go for that option. But basically, I believe that with the UI of anything, you can be able to change it, because yes, we have this, but it's not really coming out the way we want it, because I believe we can make changes too. This let's re-reference it. I think this time we are going to use Cloud Opus. So I want you to relook into this reference PDF file and look at the various sections that we have. Your job is to be able to clone these sections in the way they look. I've noticed that in your setup you've missed out on various sections that we have in our UI reference image. Try to relook into this document, identify those various sections and set them out. And when it comes to the setup of the images that are supposed to be used in the background for the various sections, also set them out very well, so that we can be able to get a view of how these elements look. Remember, the task is to make a clone of these various sections and incorporate them into our UI section. Do this effectively by looking at the elements and then drawing an implementation plan that is extensive, and then we are going to implement that. So it's working. Let's wait for it to make the changes. This is what we have currently. Not coming out the way we want it, but we are going to wait on. We're going to wait on and view how it turns out. No? Nick is trying to evaluate each and everything in terms of how everything is set up. As it's working, this is what we have currently. Well, it looks basic. I just want to view the images and how they are going to be set up. This, and then after that we can be able to review. I feel like we can do a very good job with it, refining it to a tune of something that is even much more better. Because remember, if we are going to use it as the official website for our app, then it has to be set out in a way that is very good and effective to allow us then use it, and when we get to submit our app to the App Store, it's going to be one of the things that is really required to ensure that all the requirements are set out for approval for our app to be accessible to the users, which is quite important. So we just don't want to create something for the sake of creating, but we want to create something that counts. So that is the task that Google Anti-Gravity is carrying out. It's trying to look at each and everything in a much more broader way, and then make those refinements. So this PDF to image won't really work for us. we wanted something that can be able to convert the full image without separating them, because with that you can be able to get what you want. But since it's still making refinements, I've switched to Cloud Opus, because at times Google Gemini doesn't really get the concept of what I give it in terms of the reference. So I've switched to Cloud Opus to try and give me a different kind of look into, first of all, understanding the reference image that I've given it, the components that are there, so that it can make the refinements. So at times you don't get the responses that you want because these tools are different in terms of looking at documents and in terms of giving you an output. So I switched to Cloud Opus because it's stronger than Google Gemini, but I believe they work hand in hand to give you something good in terms of the output for any website that you might be working on, or any mobile app. So the website, I believe it could be good. I can set it out with just a few elements and it could be set out, but the way it looks, I don't feel like it's enough. And I believe Google Anti-Gravity is one of the tools that is really stronger, and it can give you an output that you truly want in terms of how you go about it. So let's look at this change that Anti-Gravity is going to make in conjunction with Cloud Opus, and we get to make the review. I'm going to say this again. The purpose of these streams is to ensure that we build out various mobile apps and then scale them to a tune of getting over $500,000. We are also going to be working on various websites, and mostly the websites that we will work on are some of the websites that we are going to get and really execute for and make automations for other clients and get those funds to help us in the journey of running the expenses for our mobile apps. So if you love the process, please subscribe to the channel to be able to follow up. The current website that we are working on, it's a website for our app. The app in the previous streams I was working on an educational app that allows people to create personalized quizzes, but also they can use it to scan any question and get a relevant answer. Not only a relevant answer, but step-by-step information of how the AI arrived to the answer, which is quite good and helps them to understand how the answer was arrived at, which is quite good in purposes of learning. So it's a learning app, but in one of the requirements of submitting this app to the store, we have to make a website for it, and there are certain few things that we have to include on our website for it to be accepted to be launched. So we are working on the website now currently, which is the website of our app Quizzer. Now, what we are trying to refine is how everything looks. Currently, the look of the elements was not good, so I gave this UI, the UI reference PDF that I have, which was generated by taking screenshots of this website. So I basically took let me start from up. I took screenshots of this candid website, which I'm using as the UI reference, and when I took these images, I merged them into a PDF, and it is that very same PDF that I'm using as a reference. I tried earlier with Google Anti-Gravity. Google Anti-Gravity was not giving me what I wanted, so I've switched to Cloud Opus 4.3 to try and get something that is even much more better, because I believe that with any attempt to get what you want in terms of the UI. Sometimes the models don't get it right, and that is why I've switched. And I believe Cloud Opus is doing a very good job. It's making the refinements. So we are going to review them. We're going to look at it and review them and see those changes that have been made using Cloud Opus, because I believe it's kind of strong and much more better in understanding the concepts of what you're working with, and then being able to give you the responses that you need. That is what I'm trying to work on, because when you look at this that we have here, this is quite fantastic. It's one of the templates that is good, but I wanted to use it as a sample to create our website. But when you go to what we have here, what we have is still lacking. You can really agree that it is still lacking in terms of where we want to take it, but we are trying this to try and make these changes using the cloud, so that we can be able to review that in terms of the UI. When it comes to the information that you're going to put there, I believe it can even be just a one-pager for that. But for me, when I'm doing things, I always want to create something beautiful, because I believe people relate with products, and people mostly mind about how the products they are using made them feel. So when someone comes to a website, I would love it to be a very good website where they are going to feel like it is something good for them. I want them to feel like if they are going from the website to go and download the app, I want them to feel like it's truly an app that is really going to help them learn in a much more better way. And with that, the UI is part of how you're going to do it, which is important. You wouldn't just want to just do something and put it out there. That may not really work in that way. But when you are very candid in how you approach the requests that you put out, and you are able to explain them articulately well in a more better way, then I believe you can be able to get the output that you want. So that is what I'm working on. I've seen certain apps being built where the website has just a single page, something very simple. But for me, I believe in doing exceedingly well on each and every task that I go for. So with that, I always want to do better. So Cloud Opus has finished the refinements. Cloud Opus has finished the refinements that we wanted.
Baby, tell me your last price. I see the way you move for this song. Market people that shout my name, but I only see your
So which is quite interesting. I love the refinements, but I believe we can be able to get even much more better images for the sections that require images. So let's change it to Gemini Flash, because Gemini Flash is good with creating the images. And let's make a prompt. So now that you've set out the various sections in a much more better way, I'm going to request that you look at I want you to look at the sections that require images. I've identified that there are several sections that have a dark background and they require images. I want you to be able to generate images, but the way you are going to generate these images, I'm going to reshare our reference PDF file so that you look at the images that we have there, and with that you're going to use them as a sample in regenerating images that might be similar, or images that have color gradients that are similar to what we have in that website, so that we can be able to look at them and review whether they are fit to work as the chosen images for our website. You're going to include to create and set up images for all the sections that require the images. Below is the reference file for our UI, for you to look at it and get to understand the kind of images that you're going to create. So everything is set out. Let's go on to create the images. So this is what we have currently, which is good, but we are not having like we are lacking images that we're supposed to include, which for me is important. So these images need to be set up, because for some of these sections they require images. So if you don't have these images, then it's going to be very difficult to bring out the look that we want. So I want these images to be set out very well. So after we set out the images, then we can be able to review what we have in terms of the look, which is quite good. So basically this is how I go about it. If you really have any question that you would love to ask, then you can be able to put that question in the comment in the chat section of anything that you would love to know. But also, if you love the content that we put out, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe to this channel. We are on a mission. Our mission is to create various apps, and when we get to create these apps, we want them to be apps that are solving problems, first of all, and also have a tune of paid users that are, and our aim is to push these apps to make over $5,000, but we are only going to focus on vibe coded apps. We're going to vibe code them live constantly on a daily basis. So if you love the process and love to learn, I'm also going to be able to communicate what I do step by step on each and every product, what I'm doing, how I go about it. You're going to see how I write my vibe prompts and how I put them out, because I believe if this process is very swift for any person who is out there, they can also be able to go out there, emulate it, and do it for the various products. When I started out, it was something that I emulated. Actually, we didn't have these tools, so I could just I was using VS Code. I could start out on a project, manually code some parts of it, and then after try to make refinements using AI. It was a tedious process because you had to go back to like the cloud platform, get the code from there, or maybe go to the X platform, the Grok platform, get the code from there, bring it, refine. So it was tedious. But now that we have tools like Google Anti-Gravity that understands the concept of each and everything about your project, then it becomes easy. You can be able to use other tools like Cloud Code or maybe Casa. They are all good, but I chose Google Anti-Gravity because of several reasons. One, Google Anti-Gravity has been improving from the time that I started using it. When it came out, I saw potential in it. I started using it, but the improvements that have been made, they are really strikingly very fast compared to other companies that have been doing this. Given that it's a product coming from Google, it's even much more better So this is the image that we received, but it's well known good well, it has tried to make these images. I think I love what it has set out in terms of these elements. The background of which is quite good. I just want to, I think, make a refinement to the background of the header, which is light. Let's look at one reference image here. I think I'm going to fetch it because I took those images. So let's now thank you for the preliminary changes that you've made in terms of the images that you've created. But when it comes to the header, I've shared the reference image for the header, which shows the kind of image that I expect to be created for the header, and also the gradient color that are supposed to be in that image. And this is going to act as the reference image for, first of all, creating the background image for our hero section, full stop. And the other thing that is that I want you to look at the gradient color that we have in this particular background image, and that means that for all the subsequent images that you're going to have in our app, they need to have that kind of gradient color fill, so that we have a matchup from the hero section to the other sections. So I want you to look at, first of all, the image, identify the background image, identify the gradient colors that we have there, and then be able to create that image, which is the image that you're going to place in the background of the hero section, but also recreate other images to have that same kind of gradient feel. So this is what we have. Well, it's good. It has really tried, because even for the I can say for the images of the mockups, it has really tried to do a good job, but I feel that we can even have something much more better. So that's why I'm pressing it to look at that and be able to recreate these images in a much more better way. This is the process that I go through. Sometimes you really want to create something, but even when you put it out there, you don't get the responses that you want in terms of the images that you desire to have as an output, or any task that you're working on. So you reprompt. At times Gemini is going to work for you, but in other times you're going to require to use a cloud, because cloud is also good when it comes to the understanding of the whole concept and mostly full context of websites and apps. So I use them concurrently to try and get a better output. But let's wait for these images to be created, and then we can be able to view how they look. If you love what we put out in terms of the content, please subscribe to the channel, because that is important. It's important when you subscribe, because when you subscribe, it's very, very good, because you'll be joining our journey, the journey that we are on to make $5,000 from the apps that we are running. So I appreciate your time that you take to watch in on the live stream and everything, and I promise you that we are going to hit this mark. We've already started and already we've made some revenue, but we are going to keep on continuing. We are going to continue on this journey, and I believe it's a journey that is really going to be very, very exciting and good in terms of us using our vibe coding skills to create various apps and be able to put them on the store. So what we are waiting for, there are the images that we are creating for the hero section, and trying to make refinements to other images that we are creating. Gemini is good because actually what they use in their model, they are using Nano Banana to create the images. So if the prompt is really set out very well, then with that you are able to make very, very good images that you can use for your website, which is interesting to me. When I look at something and it's not really coming out very well, I always want to make changes and be able to get something that is even much more better. So that is what we are doing for this particular set out, and I believe it's something that is coming out very well for us. So let's look at I think it's trying to rename these assets. This is what we have in terms of this element, which is quite interesting. I believe when it comes to the navigation bar, even before scroll, we should turn it to background white, because before you scroll, it's kind of dark, which doesn't really bring it out very well. So we are going to make refinements to it. So basically, when we added an image, this is how the website itself is coming out and looking, which for me is great. And for other sections, I'm just going to go and refine them section by section, which is quite good. I love these images, but the hero section has been set out very well. Other sections I'm yet to view, because it is still in the pipelines of working out. But I believe this is a very good start. So we shall wait for the changes to be effected, and then we review them
uplifting, yeah. Always up, no stopping, no stopping, higher. We will rise together. We will rise together. We will rise together. We will rise together.
This is what we have in terms of current setup. We are going to change each and everything in the way it looks, because I believe it's just basic.
Always up, body move, no stopping, let's rise higher.
So let's continue with this. And reload this.
I follow my own leg. No be person lead me go. Like water for the mountain.
Yeah, I think we we've
See us at the flow.
nailed the gradient that we wanted.
The fire start to burn deep inside. The table start to turn for my side. Yeah. I'ma see my levels now. Joy come like morning sun. Yeah. We dey chop life every day. Yeah.
And now from here, what you're going to do, you're going to go from section.
Them say I no go make 'em. But
And
my
try to
spirit ever strong.
refine it. And with that, I want to go back to
Carry my own load.
our reference images, because we took them
Now I
each
know
and
where
every
I
section.
belong. The fire start to burn deep inside. The table start to turn for my side. I'ma see my levels now. Joy come like morning sun. Yeah. We dey chop life every day. Yeah. My race I don't win now. Yeah. I find my way.
This is what we have for the header.
Sweet life every day. No more walking for the dark. We just a fly. Everything's soft now. Everything's set. Everything's set. Everything's set.
Now for the section that has this text, it has various actually it has two cards that are laid out very well. But when it comes to the layout of these cards, given that we are talking about information which is related to a mobile app, instead of using this style of cards, I prefer we use mockups of an iPhone. and with that the images that are there should be able to fill up these mockups. The mockups should be quite wide enough to take up the whole image that is showcased in that mockup. For the texts, it's going to stay the same. So let's make this change effective. What I'm trying to change is this. This is what we have, but I just want to only have the mockups, because the way it looks is just a simple layout, but mockups are going to make it much more better, because they are going to be able to showcase the various images of our app. So that what we will do, we will later take some screenshots to insert them, but we want to view how the mockups are laid out, and that is much more better. It's generating the images. We want to change that.
I follow my own leg. No be person lead me go. Like water for the mountain. See as I flow. The fire
So now that we've achieved the color gradient that we wanted for our website, then we are going to go from section to section, trying to transform it into something much more better. Remember, like I told you, this website, we are going to use it as the main website for our Pizza app. This app, we are going to submit it to the store, and that is going to be something great. So this is what we have in terms of our UI, which is turning out to be even much more better and fantastic. So for these cards, the ones that are below, they are kind of basic. But I believe we can transform them, and that is what we are going to do. First of all, I'm going to look at the images that we have. Let's run this. As it's running, I want to look at the elements that we have. Well, before we do that, I'm going to refine something, which is the upper part of this image. This image looks good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this layout of the mockup, and then the images below, I'm going to re-include them, but they have to be sliding. They have to be sliding kind of images, where this lower row is moving to the left, and then the other is moving to the right, but they need to have that kind of animation. Let's look at the earlier animation that we had in the reference. Yeah, I think it's how it was moving, but they had this mockup. For me, I feel like we can remove this. Like we can remove that, and then we refine it the way we want. So Google Anti-Gravity has finished what we have been working on. Basically, what we wanted to have these images created. The images are good. What I feel is really lacking is that we have the outside setup, which is of a mockup, but again, in between these very images also is another mockup, so we can be able to refine that a bit. But currently, I'm going to just leave it at that. I will refine those images later. What I'm going to do, that I want to add the elements that I'm supposed to add here. Let me look for these images, the two images, because I want to refine certain things. If you love what we do in terms of the content, I'm going to request you to please subscribe. You're going to be doing this. Our aim is to wipe code until when we hit $500,000 in terms of the earnings that you are going to get from the websites and the apps that we are going to create. So if you love the journey, please subscribe for more of this. Let's give instructions on what we want to be refined. Now for the section that has this now for the section that has this text info, we are going to refine it. First of all, you are going to refine the font size of the text themselves. I've given you a reference image that has the exact font size of these texts and how they are supposed to look. But in terms of the texts themselves, they need to be related to our app. So the information, you should refine these texts to be related to our app. Full stop. I've also attached another image, and with that image, it has various cards that are below the mockup, and the mockup is shown on the top. What you are going to do, you are going to place that just below these texts, but this is how you are going to set it up. The image is not the cards that you're going to create, they're not going to have that mockup. You're going to remove the mockup, and when you view that image, it has two rows. when you view that image, it has 2 rows. Now what you're going to do with the rows is that you're going to input logic for the upper row to move on the left hand side, and the lower row to move on the right hand side. So that is how you are going to set it up, but ensure that in inputting these rows below those texts, the mockup is not present. So what you're going to remove from the reference image, it is the mockup, and also be able to implement the logic that has been requested. So this is what we are working on. I want to first of all refine the font size and the layout of these fonts so that they are related to our app. But also below this, I want to input another element here, which is in this image. These rows that are below. This mockup, I'm going to remove it, because when you go to this is how it looks. So this is the functionality that we are trying to implement, but without this mockup, which I believe is going to come out in a much more better way. So let's look at what Google Anti-Gravity gets to give us. It's working on the implementation plan, and then after we have it, we are going to approve it and we see. What happens. So we are making these changes to our app. This is the app that we are working on, and this is the reference app that we took as our reference to try and emulate each and every thing that we have. And I believe we can be able to make these changes effectively well. So it is Google Anti-Gravity that is creating everything from the images, from the context of how it is laying out the elements. So what I wanted it is to understand our app and what it does, and then be able to reproduce that UI that we have in the references to our new website. So for this website, we are going to, it's a website that we are really going to use as the official website of our app that we're going to submit to the iOS store and the Google Play Store. But we wanted these changes to be effected very well. Yes, we've added these cards and they are moving in opposite direction like we wanted them, but the layout of how they look, I want you to clone the exact look. So I'm going to go back and make that refinement. We're going to reattach the image. So I thank you for the refinement that you've already made in the rows that are moving on opposite sides. The logic of the movement is perfect. It is perfect, but we need to make further refinements. I have reattached this image. I want you to look at the design of the rows and how they are laid out. In the design, I get to see that there are several texts that are laid out, and also there are several images that are in those rows. But also I want you to emulate the exact kind of design of the size of the cards, because when you look at those cards, they have a square kind of form with how they look. So I want you to look at those cards and how they are laid out. The sizes are the same for the images that are in the row. They are the same sizes of the cards for the text cards that are in there. Look at those sizes and try to reproduce that exact size of the cards that we have in the reference image. And with these refinements, you are still going to make these refinements, and you are not going to include the mockup. The reference image, the essence of providing the reference image is to look for the sizes of the cards that are in the row, both the image cards and the text cards. So can you make that refinement? So we already have this, but it's different from what we have here. What we have here is quite different. The cards are in a square form and they are laid out very well. They're beautifully laid out with icons that accompany them. So it's what we are trying to get, because this is what we have currently. It's not really matching up what we anticipate to have. That's why we are further prompting to make changes. So it's generating images. Gemini is good when it comes to generating images because it uses Nano Banana to generate these images. So it understands the concept of your app. If it's like a studying app like what we have, then it's going to generate these images and just put them out there, which for me is an added advantage when you're working with this app. Because let's say you're working with Casa and you have to generate these images yourself and then bring them here, it becomes kind of difficult unless you've selected the Gemini model in Casa itself. But for me, I believe that if Google has a built a coding tool like Google Anti-Gravity, then it's better to work with this because it gives me the output that I want. So it's trying to generate these images effectively well, then it's going to lay them out in a way that we want, which is really fantastic. If you love the content that we are putting out, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. On our journey, we are on a journey to vibe code apps and be able to make vibe code apps and be able to make $500,000 with these apps. And currently I'm working on a website that is one of the websites for our first app that we are going to launch on the store, which is called Quizzer. It's an educational app. You can be able to get personalized quizzes within this app. But the other thing that you can have, it is to scan any question and you get answers. So how we've set up the logic is that you can scan any question and then you get to inform. If it is in a certain subject, you get to know. If it is math, you can know. If it is maybe physics, you get to know. If it is geography, you can really know. If it is history, you can know that it's a history question and then you get the answer. That is how the logic is set up for this app. And now we are creating a website for it, but we want to create something that is much more beautiful, and that is why we are making refinements to some of the sections, like these sections that we are working on currently. So if you love the content, you love the journey, please subscribe so that we can be able to create more of this content for you, and you can follow up with the process as we explain. You can get to see how we do it, because mostly when I'm vibe coding, I'm using various reference elements like the texts and images and maybe documents to try and emulate what has already been set out. When you are creating maybe apps and websites, what you would want to have, you don't want to really reinvent the wheel in terms of the designs, in terms of how the elements are laid out, but you want to emulate what is already working. So you see, we already have this, which is a set out that is quite interesting. Now, I've noticed something. For some of the elements, we have like 3 text cards that are next to each other, and then we have an image, which is not good. What we want is to have an image, then a text card, then an image, then a text card. So we are going to have that. If there is need to add on other images in this section, we are going to add it there. So you see, at least after this, then when we come here, we have this section, and below that we have this. So we are going to keep on trying to emulate one section by one section, one section by one section, using our reference images. And with that, I believe we are going to come up with a very, very beautiful website. Let's go and make that little bit the last refinement in this section, and then we continue. Now, thank you for the refinement that you've made. The cards have been, the sizes of the cards have been mastered very well. Now we are going to make the last refinement. I have noticed in how you've laid out the images and the text cards, the image cards and the text cards. The desirable logic would be that after an image, we put a text card. After a text card, an image. I've noticed that in some of the text cards are very near to each other. Like there are certain like 3 text cards following each other that we are going to refine. We are going to refine it so that what we have is like we have an image and then a text card, an image and then a text card. If there is need to create more images for these rows, then please do that and ensure that in the layout we have an image, and then after the image we have a text card. That layout is perfect in terms of the functionality that we are trying to emulate. I'm going to remind you, for the ones who have just joined, if you love what we put out in terms of the content, please subscribe to our channel and like this stream. Please like it, because when you like it and you subscribe, then it's going to go out. More people will keep on joining and watching our streams, and this journey is going to be beautiful, because we are on a journey to vibe code apps and be able to put them out to users and to solve real problems, but most importantly to get earnings from it to a tune of $500,000. So if you love this journey and the challenges that the challenge that I've set out for myself, please subscribe, because I believe you are going to learn a thing or two in how I get to vibe code these apps, and how you can also effectively do the same. So if you love what we are putting out, please subscribe, and thank you. So what we are creating, we are adding on some images on this. Currently the setup is good. I love it. It's what I really wanted, but I've noticed that when it comes to some text elements, they are near each other, like this one, study routine, exam prep, and AI quiz. They are near each other. In between these two, we need to have an image here, like how this setup is for this last one. So that is what I'm setting out, and after that we are going to continue to the next functionality. That is what we are setting out. I love anti-gravity, because anti-gravity is good. It's getting better. Actually, when you look at the models, that we have, the models are getting better in terms of generating images, which is good, and that is going to be another advantage if you have an image generator that someone can work with when they are generating maybe a screen for an app, or they are working on a certain functionality of the website, then it becomes very easy. You don't have to fetch and get images that are not even good. You get superb images that have the perfect resolution for what you want. Now, for the new images, they are not visible, so we are going to fix that. So thank you for generating these images. When I checked on the website, the new images that you've generated, they are not visible, and I believe it is in terms of the reference or the URL and how you've referenced them in our code. I want you to look at that in our code and ensure that each image that you've generated and stored is fetched very well to this very section, so that the images appear very well and we can be able to review that. So simply make that refinement. This is what we are making. That is what we had earlier. The ones that we have earlier are quite small, but in terms of the logic, we've I believe got the logic, because what we wanted to remove the mockup and just have them laid over in a much more better way. So let's run and make that refinement. Someone has asked me why I don't use cursor. The reason as why I don't use cursor is that Google Anti-Gravity is a very good tool. When I started to use it, earlier I was using cursor, but when it came to understanding the UI, given that I love working with references, because earlier when I tried cursor when it just came out, and for the subsequent months when I was using it, it was not capturing the UI references the way I really wanted it. So I zeroed down to use of Google Anti-Gravity, because with Google Anti-Gravity I get access to Gemini in its fullest form in terms of understanding, first of all, what I want to build out for the front end, understanding my UI, replicating that UI the way I want it, and also I get access to cloud itself, because with that, if I am able to get access to Cloud Sonnet 4.6 and then Cloud Opus 4.6 within Google Anti-Gravity, then it's an added advantage for me to be able to use Google Anti-Gravity, because first of all, it's going to get it's going to nail the front end, which is mostly characterized with understanding the UI and building it out the way I want. But also in terms of the back end, I'm going to get what I want with Cloud Sonnet. The other thing that I really zeroed down to Google Anti-Gravity, Google has a tool which is called Firebase Studio. Earlier, when Cursor just come out and they put out Firebase Studio was basic. But when I use Firebase Studio built out one of the best websites that I've ever put out. And with that, I understood that these models that have been integrated in Google Anti-Gravity, they are good, they are capable of doing the work that I want. And I believe when you have various references of how you want to put out a specific section, then it becomes easier for you to build with Google Anti-Gravity and put out what you want. So I think I've answered the question of someone who said who asked why I zeroed down to building with anti-gravity. I believe anti-gravity given that it's even in the initial stages and it's doing things like this, with further improvements as they come, it's going to be even much more better and much more stronger. Remember, Google has different kinds of models that they are integrating into Gemini, models that create images, models that create music, models that understand the visual concept of websites. They have a huge data set that they are working with when they are retraining Gemini, and I believe Gemini is a frontier model that is really shaping the space of how you can be able to build out. But also when it comes to convenience, when you look at the credits that you're going to pay with Casa is quite expensive when you're building out products. But when it comes to the current pricing, and I'm talking about the current pricing of Google Anti-Gravity, the pricing is very favorable for anyone who is working out and making refinements to any tool that they are building, or whether they are set out to build a website, which is for me an added advantage if I'm able to use a minimal amount of funds then to build out something that I want. Any developer wouldn't really want to be burning money on credits, because it's not it's not really favorable for you in the long run. So if you have a tool that you can use to create something much more better and you're not going to burn out credits, then I believe it's a better way of going about this. So let's look at someone is asking whether cloud service is available. It's available, but I chose to use Google Anti-Gravity because Google Anti-Gravity for me gets the concept of the things that I'm building in a much more faster way. I'm going to show you some of the website that I've worked on, like this one. I worked on this website. Let it load, and I'm going to really clarify more on the reason as to why I use Google Anti-Gravity. So now for what we wanted, we've already set up the functionality, because what I wanted is to have these elements laid out with image and the text cards very well. So now that we have that, this one, I think I'm the one that is below it, I'm just going to first of all leave it the way it is. Even these ones that I worked on earlier, I'm going to leave them the way they are. But for these cards are just basic, and I believe we can make changes to them. Let's go to Pinterest and get some cards. But before we go there, let me show you a website that I worked on here. It is still loading. Let's load Pinterest. I want to get some references for the cards, because these cards are very, very basic, so they are not going to work for us. I want to just refine the UI of how it looks.
Customer come, I know you're waiting, she talk. I just look your walk. How much for your heart? I get the cash, I get the grace, no be smart thing I carry for pocket. Wait. I know be dead, I be walker. I pay the price.
I'm trying to load Pinterest. I want to get some references because these are the cards that I want to refine. They just look basic, and I believe we can make changes to it. So I want you to look at this reference website that I built out. This website is something that I worked on, and this was done in a a span of I can say 2 days. It was just something simple, something basic that I wanted to display out various elements, but I was able to one-shot it just in a few days using Google Anti-Gravity. For me, Google Anti-Gravity cuts it because the way it gets the concept of things, even when you want something simple, it can be able to do it for you in a much more simpler way. Something that I don't really get with Casa. Casa, at times, it really loses grip on how you do things, and you have to reprompt, and even the way you are going to spend on credits on Casa is not the same way you are going to get with Google. You have that lengthy period of where you're going to have the allowance to make changes until when you get it right for whatever you're building out. And for me, that is much more better. So let me let's look at this. Well, this one is good. So let me go here. I think I have some reference images for the cards. So I'm going to attach that. Let's go here. Need to get these texts. Put them here, then I create the request of what I truly want.
No more looking back at ground. We only look at the sky.
Now we are going to make changes to these cards that have the above texts that I've given you up. The way the cards appear, they are very basic, but we are going to refine the appearance of these cards. I want you to look at the reference image that I've given you on how these cards appear, which cards have background images that are set up very well. Now, given that these cards explain various aspects of our app, the generated images have to relate with mostly the text that are or the information that is related to that specific card. So you're going to generate images for these 4 cards and ensure that the layout of these cards is similar to the layout that you get to see in the reference image. So from the reference, you are just getting the logic of rather the style of the cards. The layout in terms of the row, a single row, is going to be maintained, but you are getting from the reference image the way the cards are designed, the UI design of the cards, and then you can be able to generate the images and then refine these cards to even look much more better than they are currently. So that is the specific refinement that you're going to make in our app. And as you make it, do not tamper with any other logic that is not requested. First, rather focus on what has been requested in this request only, and maintain any other logic in our app. So let's work on it. This is what we have, but these cards look much more better. So what I want from them is the layout. The layout for the images, it's going to create images that are in line with our app. So I just want the layout itself to get it of the cards and how they look, so that we refine them, because these are basic and they don't look good on our app.
Lead me go like water for the mountain, like water for the mountain, yeah. See as I dey flow, the fire start to burn deep inside. The tables start to turn from my side, yeah. Almost see my levels now.
So these are the cards that we are trying to refine. They are very basic, but we want to have this kind of style of the cards. And for these cards, which is the 30 plus diverse subjects, step-by-step guidance, track your mastery, learn anywhere, they're basic, and we are trying to refine that using Google Anti-Gravity. So it's generating these images because they are 4 cards. That is one thing that I love about Google Anti-Gravity. One person asked whether why am I not using cursor. I use Google Anti-Gravity because it understands the whole concept. Given that Gemini is the AI model for Google, it has been integrated into Anti-Gravity and most of their products, so it understands the whole concept. When I want a feature and I give it a reference image, it's going to understand that, it's going to generate the desirable images, and then it's going to insert them into the app without me using a model that is just going to reference images from God knows where. But I get to get images generated and then incorporated into the app for me to review in case I'm working on a functionality that requires images. For me, that is a game changer. It's a step ahead because with this tool, because Google Anti-Gravity, when you look at the longevity of cursor has been there for some time, but what Google Anti-Gravity can do in the shortest span of time that it has been available, then I believe it's going to be a game changer company. And also when you look at the breadth of the company, Google is one of the main companies. I believe it's one of the $1 trillion companies that is out there. So if they have made a model, be rest assured they are going to improve on it and it's going to get better. And also when it comes to the costs, you're going to be able to use less costs when you are building out apps and mobile websites using Google Anti-Gravity than you're going to do when you are using tools like Cursor. Tools like Cursor depend on mostly only that tool, but when it comes to Google is a profitable company that is has access to profits from their various products, so that when they put out a product, it's going to be relatively affordable, but it's going to do even a much more better job because they keep on making improvements and iterations on it. So for me, Google Anti-Gravity is what I would recommend for someone who is starting out. If you are starting out your journey, you can even start out with Gemini and try to test it out with HTML website even before you come to Google Anti-Gravity. But for me, I believe it is one of the things that you can start out with. So this is what we wanted. this as good in terms of what we have, but I noticed that for the subtexts, they are kind of long. We are going to shorten them. These subtexts need to take up 2 lines, and so that the headers are moved a bit up. So let's re-reference this.
I pay the price for your love. I pay the price. Baby, tell me your last price. I see the way you move for this song. Market people, they shout my name, oh, but I only see your face, my lady. Only you. Make we bargain, make we talk.
Let's
Your matter don't occupy my head, oh. Price no be the issue.
So now what we are going to change, I love the fact that you've generated these images and the cards have been set out, which is quite interesting. Now the change that we are going to make is that I've noticed that the subtexts in these cards are quite lengthy. I want you to refine that to ensure that the subtexts only take up 2 lines, and that means you're going to lessen on the characters but maintain the meaning of the subtexts. This is going to allow us to push the whole catalog of the headers in the header texts in these cards and the subtext a bit below, so that they really emulate the look of the reference image that I provided. So that is the change that you are going to make in these cards, and ensure that it is set out as per the instructions that I've provided. So these are the cards Google Anti-Gravity has generated the images for us. Because we gave it a reference, it has generated the images, but I've noticed that the subtexts are very long, so we need to try and cut on that. Let me put them below. I think you are going to further lesson on the characters of the subtexts. The whole catalog of the header text and the subtext, it is still up. When in as far as the reference image that I provided is concerned, these texts were below. I want you to place them below where there is that blackish gradient of the card, so that they are very visible. That is what I would want you to have. Try as much as possible to maintain the meaning, but lessen the characters of the subtexts as much as possible to ensure that we have them fitted below. Also for the text, like for the header texts themselves, you can have them take up 1 line, but ensure that they are placed just on the bottom of the card. So the cards are fine, but the layout is not yet there, so I want to place them below. Yeah, at least there, that is much more better. That is much more better. What we are going to do next is that we are going to refine the appearance of this card. So what I'm looking for is a reference of how this card can be transformed. I think we can get this, and because currently it's just basic, but we can be able to transform its background look, because I believe that is something that is doable. So let's continue.
Waiting this up, energy high, all the levels don't change.
Now for the section, so let's put the text request here. Now for the section that has a headline text that I've included above, we are going to refine the background look of the card. I have attached a reference image that has a gradient kind of background image, and I want you to look at its setup. We have a card that has a text. This is the very card that you are going to refine. We are going to maintain all the text that is in this card, but we are just going to refine the background look of this card. And also, when you look at the reference image that I've provided to you, this card is uplifted from the main or the background. So you're going to first of all include that uplifted feel to this card, and ensure that it has the gradient effect that is visible enough to show that it is uplifted. But also you're going to change the background color of this very card, basing on what you have in the reference, to ensure that is set out. You can be able to generate a relevant study image for it. You can create an image that includes a person to it, and be able to set it out in a much more better way. And the aim is to change how this card looks. So this is the card that we are making changes to. It's just simply plain and basic. I feel we can make changes to it. So that is so far what we have in terms of the setup. When it comes to the images, mostly in the mockups, these images I'm going to refine them. I will get real mockup images for our app. Those are the ones that we are going to use, but currently I'm going to leave those placeholders And I'm just going to continue making refinements to what we have and the cards, and
see my levels now. Joy come like morning sun. We dey chop life every day.
And this is what we are trying to refine. So let's view how anti-gravity is going to deal with this refinement. Let's set out the implementation plan. So we are going to proceed.
Uplifting, danceable, electronic rhythm. Them say I no go make am, but my spirit ever strong. I carry my own load. Now I know where I belong. The fire start to burn deep inside. The tables start to turn for my side. See my levels now. Joy come like morning sun. We dey chop life every day. My race I don't win now.
So it's making the refinements.
Energetic percussion and melodic house chords.
Then we are going to review.
Festival energy. I find my way. Sweet life every day. No more walking for the dark. We just fly.
At times it takes up some time, but I believe it's going to make the required adjustments. You just have to wait out and then be able to review these adjustments in a much more better way. Basically, what you're going to deal with most of the times is that you're going to have get concepts of what you want, and that works out very well. And the other tool that I use to create these reference screens, if I don't really get them from anywhere, mostly the sections, I use Google Stitch. Google Stitch is also very good. It creates these screenshots in a much more better way, but also you can be able to fetch those very screenshots and also fetch the HTML code, and that is wonderful, because when you have a sample HTML for any section that you're going to view, then these coding tools are going to understand it actually even much more better. You have the UI image and then the HTML code that works perfectly well. It's a perfect combination for you to use as a reference, build out whatever that you're building out. So we are working on an element where we are refining the look of our card. So this is the style of the card that we wanted, and we are making changes to this section, and after that we shall be able to review it. Like earlier I told you, this is one of the the website that I built out using Google Anti-Gravity. I believe Google Anti-Gravity is one of the best tools out there that you can be able to use, and that will depend on how you make references to what you're building out, which is very good and very simple. So we are still waiting for the response on the feature that we are working on, which is taking quite long, but I believe it's worth it. We need to wait out and get the response of whatever we are building out. Well, what I normally recommend is that yes, even when Google Anti-Gravity has a free version, what you're going to do is that I prefer that you go for the paid version. The paid version is going to give you flexibility in switching to the models, and also the way it is set out, it is much more better, because you're not going to get challenges in terms of delays, and you're also going to have the flexibility to switch from cloud to Gemini freely. And I believe Google Anti-Gravity is a good tool. It's a good tool because I've used it for several projects, and the improvements that are made to it from time to time make it better each and every time. So yes, at times it's going to take out some time, but it's effectively going to build what you want. This is our card. It's created it, but I believe this is our card, but I believe I want it to capture that exact gradient blur effect that we have in our image. So if we are able to re-reference this image, what you are going to do when it comes to this, I love that you've created the card, but what is missing, when you look at the reference image that I provided earlier, it had a gradient fade out blur effect in between the image and the lower card, which is the text card that are housed within the main card. Look at it and give us that exact kind of gradient blurry fade out effect for the image as it fades into the text that are below it within the card. So we need to have that kind of functionality. Can you work on it? Let's make these refinements, and we get to view
one people lifting, yeah, always up, no stopping, higher.
Let me try to re-reference the image like it's not giving us what we want. We are going to start a new thread and try to add it there. Currently, the fade out effect of the image, as it between the image itself and the card that is below it, which is there. All these elements are housed within the main card. So that effect is the gradient blur effect is in between the image and the top layer of the real-time study analytics card. It has to be there so that the edges of the top layer of the real-time analytics card do not appear. So it's the image is fading with a blur effect to the lower card, which is the text card, and that is the element that we are supposed to add here. Can we add it to this card?
But my spirit ever strong. I carry my own load. Now I know where I belong. The fire started to burn deep inside. The tables start to turn for my side.
Let's change the model cloud and we get to re-experiment. This is trying to make the change, but let me try it with a Cloud Sonnet and then I review. Yes, the card has been created, but I was refining changes to it. I wanted this blurry kind of feel, but we have this card. So this fade out effects of that comes from below the real-time analytics 2. Above is what I wanted. Let's work on the refinement and then we get to review. Let's reload it. What we are going to do, if we are not getting the response that we need, then we are going to go to Gemini. I'm going to go to Gemini, and shall get this use cases code snippet. This is the kind of approach that I used to do back then when these tools had not yet come. I'm going to get this very code and put it here. I also get the reference image. Downloads. Now I've shared with you a full code snippet of that is part of my project that I'm working on. But when you look at the reference image that I've also shared with you, it has a gradient blurry effect that is coming from the text element that is below and fading to the image above. That is what I would want to have for the card that we have in this section. Now, on the observation of the reference image that I've given you, can you rewrite this full code snippet and making refinements to capture that very exact kind of gradient feel that we have in this particular section? Ensure that you rewrite the full code of this code snippet when you're making refinements. Full stop. So let's go here, complex. So let me retry it with the same very model, but using Gemini, and I get to view what it's doing, because currently I'm not getting what I want, but it's the same model, so it might really get it right. So let it code it out, and then we can return it to our code and we review it. At times these tools don't get the functionality that you want the way you want it, so you can be able to attempt a task that is really persistently not giving you what you want in that way. I always try that out. Let's review this and I think this one is well, it's good, but the real-time text has been shifted. It's not on the same line. It is just supposed to be on below. But these other elements that have been included, they are awesome. Actually, they look much more better than what we had earlier. We can be able to also make further refinements here. Now, for the header of these cards, which is this is has been moved kind of up, and it's not on the same line. So I want you to ensure that this text is on the same line and is below in the text card. I also want you to ensure that you study the blurry effect element that is in our image, I'm going to re-upload that image, look at it, and then you can also be able to implement specifically that. When it comes to other elements in the code, you are going to maintain them as they are. So let's try to make some refinement, because I love what it did in terms of these elements. This card was refined, the consistency cards was refined very well. So what we are trying to work on, it is this text, and then after the text, aligning it, then the gradients. If we are able to get that, then we can continue to other elements. So let's sorry, let's
my spirit ever strong. I carry my own load. Now I know where I belong.
Perfect. This is what I wanted. This is what I wanted, and it has got it right. So at times there are certain functionalities that you're going to attempt, and they're not going to come out the way you want them. Then from there, you're going to maybe try out this LLM's model for a certain functionality or a certain feature. You can get the code, take it out, maybe to Google Gemini, maybe to Cloud, then try to explain what you want and the refinements that you want in that code. Then after that, pick that very code snippet that has been refined, the full code snippet, and then return it to your work, and it's going to work out very well. It has refined it very well, because it is even changeable in terms of so you can be able to change this. It has given it various images. Perfect. This is just perfect. I'm going to remind you that this is a website that we are building for one of the apps that we are first going to launch on the App Store, which is Quizzer. It's an educational app that allows people to customize their learning in terms of personalized quizzes that are personalized to the context of where they are, or where they reside, or where they might want to attach their quiz to. But also, you can be able to use it, use the app that we've developed to scan out each and every question, and you get the answers that you want, which is good. So I believe this is going to be a perfect and suitable website that we are going to have for our app. If you love what we do, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe to this channel, like the current stream, and also you can be able to reach out to other people who may be interested in getting access to what we showcase. We showcase this process as we vibe code to show that this is very doable for each and every person. You don't really have to have a huge technical skills. You just have to know what you want and be able to explain it articulately well to these models, and they're going to build out something that is even much more better that you want. So let's go down this one. We're going to leave it the way it is. When we go down to these cards, I believe these cards can also be transformed. They are black, they are very basic. I have an image that can work to transform this, and we are going to do that. But I'm going to remind you, if you've not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe as we continue to go through this journey of vibe coding apps until when we will hit a tune of $500,000. So thank you for the subscription and for being part of this journey. Let's continue. So we are going to refine these. I'm going to refine this, and what we are going to do is that I'm going to look for suitable images and cards. This is just perfect because the layout of these, I want images like these to be generated, not exactly these, but images that capture mostly faces of people and headshots of people, and then we can add the relevant texts that we want. So let me first of all attach this image. Now for this section that has the header that I've shown above, we are going to change the way the cards are displayed in this section. Currently the cards are very normal, with no background, with just a black background. We are going to change them. I've attached an image. This image has the perfect display of, first of all, images that show show the faces of people very well, doing various activities. And for our case, given that we are a study app, the images that you're going to generate, they are going to be images that show study activities, study related activities. But in terms of the sizes of the cards and how they are displayed and where the texts in the cards are placed, you are going to use the reference image. First of all, create the desirable images that you are required to create, and then after creating these images, you are going to use the current text that we have in our cards to place them below, just like how you see the texts that are on the reference images are placed currently. So the task is to create relevant study images that are in line with what is being explained in these cards, and also ensure that for the text that you have in these cards, they are placed right below. And you need to ensure that the images that you've created allow these texts to be visible. They need to have that kind of feel that allows the images to be visible. You look at the reference images that you have and look at actually the background colors of the reference images that we have. You can try to replicate that, but mostly for study activities. Let's use Gemini for this. So these are the cards that we are trying to refine. They are too basic. And in terms of the cards, I love this display. It's good. It has that black gradient that really brings out the text very well, but also the way these individuals appear, it's quite unique and good. So I'm trying to just emulate the style and integrate it into this section because it looks basic, which we are also going to make changes to. So we already have the implementation plan. I think it's first of all going to generate the desirable images that we want, which is good, and it's going to place them exactly where we want them, which to me is quite good. It's quite good because with that you can be able to make a review of what has been made. What we are trying to review is these cards. These cards are very basic, so we are trying to review them. I think it's still underway. It's coding, so we need to wait out. So we are trying to review those cards to ensure that they are aligned very well in terms of the text, but we are also adding images to them so that they look wonderful. We need to have that because it's currently kind of basic, but we need to refine it so that it looks good. And that is essential because this is a website that we are building for our app that we are about to submit to the store. So it has to be set out perfectly well in as far as the requirements and the guidelines of Apple is concerned. We are going to submit primarily to the Apple Store, but also we are going to submit to the Google Play Store. We are going to go through both processes, which is quite good and interesting. So, cards have been laid out. Well, what it has used, it has not generated new images. It has used old images. I wanted it to generate new images for this. So let's effect that. So what you're going to do when it comes to these cards, I want you to ensure that you generate new relevant images. Currently, you've used old images that we have in our app. I want you to generate new relevant images. I'm going to reshare our referencer screen so that you can see the kinds of images that might match here, but they have to be educational related and related to our app.
I stand there like person we lost. I forget within I come by. I forget to, baby, tell me your last price. I see the way you move for this song. Market people they shout my name, but I only see your face, my lady.
I'm trying to attach this, but I think we can re-instruct.
I know you're waiting, she talk. I just look your walk. How much for your heart?
Let's remove this. Now, what you're going to do, you're going to ensure that you create new images. They need to be related to the value proposition that we offer and the information or the text information for a particular card. These images have been integrated. I love the cards and how they are set out. It's good, but thing is, these images have already been used. So what I'm trying to get is to generate new images, fresh images.
But your voice be like song. Last price.
So we are going to fix that, and then we are going to continue. So this website is a website that we intend to use as the official website for our visa learning app. So we are setting it out effectively well. If you've not yet subscribed to our channel, please, I'm going to call upon you to subscribe to the channel so that you can get the subsequent streams that we are going to be doing. We are going to be streaming our way to $500,000. That we are going to do. And with each and every product that you're going to work on, we are going to work on it live as you're seeing in the live streams, and the continuity of that and the various products that you're going to work on and launch and the income from it, it is what is going to get us to that fee. So if you want to be a part of this journey, please subscribe to the channel and keep watching and support. By subscribing, you've directly supported this journey, because when we put out this information out there and we do it as we also teach and explain how we do it and what we know, that is also something wonderful to the audience and the people who are watching these live streams, and I believe each and every day they get to learn a thing or two as we go about the process, because the process is practical. We do and review as they watch, which makes it much more easier for them to learn how they can be able to deal with these coding tools. So if you love the content that we put out, please subscribe. Or if you are even curious to see how far we go with this journey, please subscribe, and I'm very grateful for the subscription. Let's get to view the implementation plan that has been set out. So we are going to say proceed. It's going to create new images. We want those images because currently the ones that we have, we've used them earlier in various elements up here, so we wouldn't want to reuse them. We just want have a new kind of feel.
We move, always up, body move,
This is basically what we've worked on.
no stopping, higher. We move, always up, we did rise together, we did rise together.
Which is quite good. So we need to have new images here, and after we are going to look at the other elements.
Touch the sun, touch the sun, touch the sun, touch the sun. One sound, one people, lifting, yeah. Always up, no stopping, higher. We did rise together, we did rise together.
Let's continue with the implementation and get to check out the results that we've received after the implementation. No. Does not generated new images. These are still the old images that we okay, but we need to have newly generated images. Let's let me request. Now I've still noticed that you've not generated new images for this specific section. Full stop. So the task is that you should generate new images, and then these images should be able to match our value proposition as an app, what we offer as an app to our users, but also they should match up the information, the specific text information that is in the various cards. So the main aim it is to create fresh new images that we are just going to use for these sections. Currently you are using images that we've already used in other sections, which is not quite good. What you're going to do is generate new fresh images, and then ensure that the way these images are generated, they align with what we do as a learning app, but also they align with the information that is set out in the various cards where you're going to place them in this specific section. So this is what you should do for now. Full stop. Ensure that you implement this request just the way it is, and ensure that what we have in the implementation plan is logic to create new images or generate new images using Nano Banana that align with what we want. So I'm going to re-request the current images that were generated, that were used, that have been used previously. So I'm trying to generate fresh images. And get to see. So as it's working out, let's review this section below. which also needs refinements. It also needs refinements. Let's look at what we have in terms of
Step in the place, energy high. All the levels don't change. No more looking back at ground. We only look at the sky.
So what we are going to go to do here, we're going to go here and get review cards, UI design.
Never stop. Job life, we don't arrive. Long drum, make we come alive. Whoa, long drum, we come alive.
So with this, I just want to get a different kind of feel when it comes to these cards, because currently they are also just basic. Basic is good, but you always want to make out something that is excellent. So let me pick this image. I feel like this one was much more better in terms of how it's springing out. The other thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to go to a website that's called React Bits. React Bits Dev. This has a very good animations. So we are going to browse some of these and we're also going to go to this website, went fast to dev. They have very good components. There's something that I want to refine when it comes to these cards. They are basic. I want to refine how they look, but I also want to add some bit of animations to them. And the way you get access to this is that you go to several websites that already have built out React components, where you don't have to struggle with
energy high. All the levels don't change.
So like you see this card, so which means we can be able to add a glow out effect.
Burn like fire, no be beans. Everything set, we they win. Lift your hands, touch the top.
So the glow out effect is on the cards. I can copy the prompt for this. And first of all, go back and look at this.
We move fast. Make this feeling always last. Always last. Always last.
So we are going to refine this section, and for the cards that we have in this section, I'm going to give you a prompt below that is going to allow us to add a glow effect to these cards. And I believe this is one of the things that is going to make the review cards look even much more better. Let's move back here. Recopy this prompt.
King of the street on the throne. Higher we go.
Following the prompt that I've given you in terms of the glow effect, I want you to ensure that you implement this glow effect very well, and ensure that our cards, the background, or rather the border radius of our cards has that glow effect implemented effectively well. Let's
Everything soft and
so let's go here. And try to implement this. At times, for some components, when you come on this website, which is 21st Dev, you get to have a set out code, but I believe for this specific component there isn't sufficient code for it. So, these are good. You can come here and get access to various elements, borders, calls to action, whatever you want to have access to, scroll areas, pricing. And for me, it makes the work easier. It makes the work easier at times when I don't have let's say I've set out a certain section already and I want to make refinements to it. So I'm going to come here and pick something, get its code snippet, and rather get its prompt, and then be able to refine that prompt in a much more better. You can also get access to cards, calendars, and buttons, whatever you want. But let's first of all be able to refine these testimonials and see how they are going to look. If you've just come to the stream, I'm going to again call upon you to subscribe to the stream. We are on the journey of vibe coding various apps until when we will hit $500,000 in revenue, and I believe that and much more we are going to hit. So if you want to be part of this journey that you're doing, we are only going to hit this with vibe coded apps, and we are going to showcase the process on a daily basis. It's a journey. It's not a one-day event. It's a journey. That's why I am calling upon you to please subscribe so that you can be part of this journey. I know that it's going to be one of the most beautiful journeys that you're going to ever witness, because we shall hit those numbers, because I'm very sure that vibe coding is the future, and the context of how you can be able to build certain tools and put them out there and be able to solve people's problems, but most importantly for the people to pay you for the problems that you are solving. There's never been a better time of building things like this. So I believe that journey we've started, we are on it, and we are going to hit our targets. So if you want to be part of the journey, please subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to the channel so that you can be able to watch and also get to learn a thing or two from us and how we go about this process, or teach us a thing or two on how you are doing whatever you are doing. You might be doing something, and maybe you can, for you are doing it in a much more better way and you're getting better results. The chat section is very open. You can be able to comment anything, how you go about your process, if you're already underway into the process of coding apps and maybe vibe coding various websites. So let's wait for these changes that are being made. So what we are making in terms of the change is that these cards are very basic. So we are trying to add an animated effect to them, mostly to the borders, so which is quite good. What we are trying to add, let me go back and show it to you. So this is the effect that we are trying to add. That is the effect that we are trying to add. So let's wait for Google to review what we have. So as it's making changes, we can also look at other elements that we can be able to get from this one. So let's I think it's making refinements. I wanted to look at the lower elements that we have, but basically what I was saying is that when you come to these various websites that already have set out React components, it becomes easier for you, because instead of really prompting from time to time, you can have access to various components that are already set out. You copy the prompt and then use this prompt into refining a specific section. Remember, vibe coding is all about giving that particular concept that you want to put out in a much more better way, and when you put it out, that becomes the basis of how the tool that you're coding with, be it Casa, be it Google Anti-Gravity or Cloud Code, how it is going to make refinements to what you truly want. And for me, that is a game changer of how I go about things. And even with the different kinds of challenges that you're going to meet, mostly of these LLMs not understanding the context of what you're putting out. If you have better explanations in terms, like if you have added references in terms of the visual layout of what you want to build, and also how you want the specific features to perform, or the specific elements of what you have on that visual layout, and how you want them to perform in terms of the animations, in terms of the back-end logic, it becomes easy. The extensive explanations are what's really going to get you to using lesser tokens as you're building out, because when it understands, let's say, when it understands what you're building out in, let's say, 1 or 2 refinements, you won't really have to make 5 refinements per section. And that is going to be much more better. That means if you are serious, in a span of 2 days, because most of the, actually, when it comes to the web platforms, simple web platforms that don't really have so much logic, when it comes to these, and you're really doing good work, even when you're starting out, in a span of 1-2 days, you can be able to put it out there. And To me, that is the magic of vibe coding, and that's why I love the process, and it's what I use currently for building out these tools, and it is what we are going to use specifically for building out the websites and also the various apps. The app that we are working on is called Quizzer. Quizzer is good. It helps people to get personalized quizzes that they can learn from and improve on whatever they are learning. But also, you can be able to scan any subject and get results for what you want. And for that, we are setting up a website for it, and we are currently making refinements to that. We are currently making refinements to that. So as it's loading, I want to restart the terminal and reopen. We're going to restart the terminal and reload this so that we can be able to view the changes after it has completed the whole setup.
Sweet life every day. No more walking for the dark. We just fly. Everything's soft now. Everything's set. Everything's set. Everything's set.
So now that we have the implementation plan, we are going to proceed on making this refinement. So after that, then we can be able to review the changes that we've made.
I found that old photograph in a shoebox. The edge is afraid and the color is fading, but I see the way you were looking at me. We were just kids trying to build a kingdom on a foundation of nothing but laughter and hope. It wasn't perfect.
Changes are being made. We shall review them. We want that glowing effect to be set up around the cards. Let's review these changes.
Taught me how to take a breath when the world felt like it was closing in. We walked through the seasons hand in hand, learning that growth is a quiet kind of pain. I look, the woman I've become to become by. See your influence in waist and I. There's no bitter.
So these are the changes that we've made so far.
Only the warmth, a story well told. I still feel the way you held me, like a soft fire against the winter sky.
The cards have been set out, but we are not seeing the glowing effects. I'm going to reshare it. Yes, it was set out, but let's recopy the prompt. Let's recopy the prompt. Thanks for the initial refinements, but you've not currently implemented the glowing effect. You've created the glowing effect component, but you've not integrated it to the testimonial cards. I'm going to reshare the prompt for implementing this below so that you can review the prompt and see how you can be able to refine this so that when this testimonial section is in view, the glowing effect appears effectively on the various cards, on the edges of the various cards. Full stop. Below is the prompt for implementing this effect. Let's copy it. I think we already have it up. We don't really need to recopy it. We have it here. I'm just going to copy it. I think it's laid out very well with the initial code you're supposed to set it out.
Follow my own leg. No be person lead me go. Like water for the mountain. See as I they flow. The fire start to burn deep inside. The tables start to turn for my side. I'ma see my levels now. Joy come like morning sun. Yeah. We the chop life every day. Yeah. My race I don't win now. Yeah. Them say I no go make 'em, but my spirit ever strong. I carry my own load. Now I know where I belong. The fire start to burn deep inside. The tables start to turn for my side. I'ma see my levels.
So now we have it. Let's continue.
For the dark, we just fly.
what we want to implement, we want the glow effect to be implemented very well. The prompt that we had, it had even code snippets of what is supposed to be implemented. So I believe it's a process that can be set out very well the way we want it. Which is doable. So this is a process that we are going to implement, which is great. Let's look at the changes. Now we've implemented the glow effect because it is there. When you click on it, you are able to view that glow effect, which is interesting. So what we wanted to implement, when we go back to these elements that this is what we had. Which is the glow effect that you get to see when you click on the cards here. And that is what we implemented here, that you're able to view this, which is awesome for our cards. Which is an awesome piece of what we have. So I want us to look at maybe the cards that are available in terms of the CTAs.
I follow my own leg. No be person lead me go. Like water for the mountain. See as I the flow. The fire start to burn deep inside. The table start to turn for my side.
CTA.
Almost see my levels now.
Let's try to search here. But we are also going to use Pinterest and for CTA UI design. Let's save this and also want to look at these calls to action that are here, because they might be well you can pick a thing or two from them and view how we can be able to
and melodic house chords. And the mic festival
This looks much more better. Let's go back to our app.
Sweet life every day, no more walking for the dark. We just fly, everything soft now.
Should we change the CTA or we should just refine this card, which houses the QR codes rather. So let's go here.
Body move, no stopping, higher. We move, always up, always up. We did rise together. We did rise together. We did rise together. We did rise together. Touch the sun. Touch the sun.
What we want
touch the sun. Touch the sun. One sound, one people lifting, yeah. Always up, no stopping, higher. We did rise together.
So what we want to make changes to this card, which is holds the QR code. Let me save this.
Body move, no stopping. Let's rise higher.
Now for the section that holds this text, I've identified that this section has a QR code card that is set out, but this card is empty. We are going to redesign this card. We're going to redesign it effectively well to ensure that it resembles the UI image that I've attached to this request. In the UI image where there is a different kind of background color, which does not align with our colors that we've set out. I want you to look at the colors that we are using for our website, mostly in the background of the hero section, and ensure that the card that you are designing has that kind of background. But when it comes to the QR code card that is within what you see in the reference image, it should be designed to be visible very well with that QR code very, very well set out. So we are making this final refinement for today. Let's look at this CTA section. Let's look at it. And refine it, and then we can review it. I'm going to call upon you to please, if you love the content that we put out, so please subscribe to our channel, because I believe as we continue on our journey to build out various apps to be able to hit $500,000, when you subscribe, you are going to be part of our journey. So the subscription is very important for us, so that you get notifications of further live streams that we are going to do as we continue on our journey, which is quite interesting.
But my spirit ever strong. I carry my own load. Now I know where I belong. Oh, the fire starts to burn deep inside. The tables start to turn from my side. Almost see my levels now.
We already have the implementation plan. Let's proceed.
Sweet life every day. Sweet life. No more walking for the dark. We just fly. We just fly. Everything's soft now. Everything's soft now. Everything's safe.
Yeah, I think we already have a layout that is great. Our CTA is already set out in a much more better way. So this is the CTA for our app. This website is for the app that we are working on, which is a learning app, and it's going to be the official website that we have set out to use for the app that we are developing. It's going to be the first app that we are going to put out. Like I've always told you, this is a stream that is going to be taking place, and we are going to continue on our journey to work on various apps until when we are going to hit $500,000. that figure, I'm very sure we can be able to hit it. So if you love the content that we put out, please subscribe to this stream, subscribe to the channel rather, and like the stream, and continue to follow our activities, because we are going to continue to do this. This is going to be our first app that we are going to put out, but one of the requirements to launch an app on the App Store is that you need to have a website for it, and there are certain things that you need to include on that website. So we are working on the website, because the app I believe we've done already 90% of that. We are just going to submit that to the store, but we want to submit it with all these other elements laid out very well, so that we get to wait for the approval from the stores. And when we launch, then we shall be able to go into the marketing bit of that. And as we go into that, we are also going to be making other apps, and we are going to do that. I believe for this year specifically, we are going to build out up to 5 apps that we are going to launch on the store. But the bid is to earn over $500,000 doing vibe coding out apps that we love, apps that most importantly solve people's problems. So if you love what we put up, please subscribe to what we are doing on this channel, and continue to follow us effectively. For this stream, we are going to end here. We are going to continue on working on this very website on the next day, tomorrow. But I thank you so much for watching in. I appreciate each and every minute that you've given in for the support in terms of following this journey and viewing what we put out there.